Hello, my name is Jim Gardner. I'm the Medical Director at Blackpool Teaching Hospitals NHS Foundation Trust. This is my COVID update on Wednesday the 23rd of June 2021. The situation in hospital is that today we've got 10 COVID positive patients as inpatients. That's within 14 days of their first positive diagnosis. We've got 8 patients on our general wards and 2 patients in critical care. When I've looked back at the data, this time last week I was talking about us having 9 inpatients. The number went up to 15 through the week and has come back down a little bit. Not clear really, to be honest, where that trajectory is going at the moment. And we're seeing the numbers in the community still rising a bit, although the rate of increase does seem to have slowed. So we are prepared to receive more COVID positive patients, of course, over the next few weeks, but not entirely certain, to be honest, what that total number will get to. So if I look at the Blackpool numbers, prevalence per 100,000 is showing at 295 compared to 199 this time last week. For filed, it's 147 compared to 144, so that's a very small increase. For wire, it's 161 compared to 81 last week, which is of course a doubling. So those figures are quite mixed. The immunisation rates across the area show 61% of all adults have had both doses in Blackpool, 70% in filed and 72% across wire. And it's clear from our data that immunisation is, I think I'd say, spectacularly successful in reducing illness with COVID and transmission. So the message remains, if you are in the adult age group, so anyone over 18 now, or you're in at-risk groups, then please, if you've not had the complete course of immunisation, try and make that happen. So if you're over 18, you can go on the NHS UK website and book online. There is also going to be a vaccine van visiting Blackpool next week, so from Monday the 28th of June, and you can really just pitch up at the van and have a vaccine there and then if you've not been vaccinated. The details, if you go on an internet search and look up vaccine van Blackpool, then the details of where the van is going to be are all on that site. So that's a very easy opportunity to get vaccinated next week if you're in those categories. Just flipping back to the hospital, I'm sorry to say we've reported one further death from COVID, so that's somebody within 28 days of their first positive diagnosis. That takes our total for the whole of the pandemic up to 767. So commiserations, condolences to the family involved. That's the first one for some time, so we're obviously very sad about that. Talked about vaccines. Let me just say something about testing and just draw out the difference between regular testing if you don't have symptoms of COVID, so really to check whether you're okay, and those tests, lateral flow tests, are easily available from pharmacies or online. If you're an adult, you can go into a pharmacy and get a pack of lateral flow testing to test yourself if you are asymptomatic. If you have symptoms of COVID or you believe you may have COVID, the key thing there is to get a PCR test. That's the kind of the official test. It's the one that looks for the variants of COVID, the Delta variant, for example. It's a more sophisticated test, if you will, done through the laboratory. And to access those tests, you need to go online, nhs.uk, or dial 119, and you'll be given an appointment for a PCR test. So finally, we're still seeing considerable numbers of COVID cases in our communities. We can see that the immunisation is spectacularly successful in reducing risk and transmission, so we need to get those rates as high as we possibly can. And in the meantime, we need to continue with our safety measures of social distancing of 2 metres, of wearing masks in public spaces, and of course washing our hands frequently. Thank you very much as ever.